What's up? It is Tuesday, the 21st day of September, episode 77 of the Be Your Own Hero show. Trying to get the angles right. All right, so I got to jump right into it because Tip Tuesday goes fast because we're talking about money. That's what I do on Tip Tuesday. So let's just get into it. Let's just jump right in. So I've got two questions that were submitted. Thank you for the questions. I appreciate it. Keep them coming. It definitely gives me something to talk about. So, question number one: how do we create a digital wallet? For those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, a digital wallet is what it sounds like. Instead of carrying a wallet in your pocket or your purse, it is like an app. It's a program that you keep on your phone or any of your devices, really, that stores cryptocurrency. Basically, it stores cryptocurrency. And it's a means by which you can pay people and a means by which you can send cryptocurrency to other people. Now, before you think that this is not relevant to you, I assure you it is. Once again, cryptocurrency is already at $2 trillion. It has already happened. We're just waiting for the world to catch up. That's number one. Number two, the current projections are that 50% of the world's population will be using digital wallets by 2025. It's 2021. We're talking about soon. So don't think this doesn't apply to you. Please pay attention to cryptocurrency. It has happened, and we're just waiting for the world to catch up. So that said, I am going to put a pin in that question. I have been avoiding it, so this is a nudge for me personally. I have set up my digital wallet, but I haven't activated it. Wait a minute. I created it, but I haven't finished setting it up. So I am challenging myself to get my own wallet set up by next week, Tuesday. So I will tell you how to do that by next week, Tuesday. Again, thank you for the question. So moving on to question number two, which is actually a statement. I got a text saying, I'm not making any money in the stock market. So let's get into that. We're going to spend the bulk of the show talking about that. Okay. So this is essentially about mindset. I've said that before, but I need to emphasize it because in this space, it has become very apparent to me that there are only two things separating the haves from the have-nots: knowledge and mindset. Typically, we think it's money, but it's not money. It's knowledge and it's mindset. And the knowledge is irrelevant if you don't have the right mindset. That is important. The knowledge is irrelevant if you don't have the right mindset. So, that said, I am imploring everyone once again to check out my podcast. It's called Get Rich 101. It's right there on my right-hand side. Get Rich 101. Both of these are my podcasts. The sekouwrites podcast is more about, all the things I'm up to. Get Rich 101 is specifically about the mindset of getting rich. It is me reading this book called The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace D. Wattles. It was written in 1910, and the information is crucial. You hear the title, The Science of Getting Rich, and you expect a certain thing, and it is not that thing. It is all about mindset. And it makes it very clear that you can't become wealthy without the mindset. That reminds me of another quote. I think that was Jim Rohn who said, if someone gives you $1 million, you better become a millionaire quick. You understand? So it's not about the money. It's about the mindset. Okay, so that said, we're going to get back into this text about I'm not making any money. Okay, so let's break this down. This person's portfolio has 7 stocks, and she has invested $14 across 7 stocks. She invested $14 across 7 stocks, so basically $2 per stock, in August. So that's just a month ago because it's September now. So this reminds me of something that Warren Buffett said. He said that, quite famously said, that nobody wants to get rich slow. When people come into the stock market, they expect things to move fast. They expect themselves to make money quickly. And that's not necessarily how it works, unless there are some other mitigating circumstances like recessions and crashes. We're not going to get into all that now. So right now we're talking about mindset and unrealistic expectations. So let's break down this portfolio. So we got $14 again, spread over 7 different stocks, and it's only been in there. The money's only been in there for a month. So let's take one of her stocks. One of her stocks is Netflix. So she's got $2 in Netflix, right? So Netflix is currently trading at about $575 per share. So $2 is less than 1%. So that's not a big stake. That's less than 1%. 1% will be about $5.75. It's less than 1%, right? So the first thing I want to say is you get out what you put in. Like if you're putting little tiny little bit in, you're not going to get much out. And that is not an indictment at all. Because if you've been watching the show, you know that I got $1 here, $2 there, $3 there. I spread myself all over the place once I discovered that it was easy to get into the stock market. And I think that's the most important first lesson. It's easy. Don't miss that lesson. It's easy. It has been set up in the world as this big, imposing, challenging thing. It ain't that hard. If you've been following along with me, you already know because you've gotten involved. It ain't that hard, right? That's big, important lesson number one. Big, important lesson number two is the money doesn't vanish. Because that's the other thing that we're taught, right? If we put the money in there, it's going to vanish. If you've gotten in there with me, if you've invested even $2 here, $1 there, you've noticed that it doesn't vanish. Like it fluctuates, but it doesn't vanish. And you don't lose equity. In other words, if you buy in at $10, let's say, and the price goes down to $5, you don't lose any money unless you decide to sell at $5, right? Because if you just leave it in there, it might go up to 12. Like it fluctuates. And even if you sell at $5, the $5 stays in the ecosystem. It stays in Cash App or Ameritrade or Robinhood or whatever brokerage you're set up on. And for me, psychologically, once I put the $10 in there, I've already sacrificed the $10. So if it comes down to $5, but it stays within the ecosystem, I'm like, all right, well, let me reallocate that $5 to something that I know is working. So these are important lessons to not miss. And don't skip over those lessons. It's important to notice those things, that it's not that difficult and you're not going to lose your money in the way that the story has been told. Okay, so let me get back to this example. So you got $2 in Netflix, that's less than 1%. If you look at the chart on Cash App for Netflix, you will see that Netflix, over the life of the company, its stock has increased 48,000%. 48,000%. That's incredible. So if you bought in during their IPO and you just sat on it, over the life of the company, your equity would have increased 48,000%. But that's none of us. I assume that that's none of us. So let's just talk about where we are. If you got $2 in Netflix. Wait, let me go back to the chart. So the chart on any of these apps, on any of these brokerage houses, Cash App, Robinhood, Ameritrade, any of them, you will see that it defaults to one day. It tells you what's happening today in terms of the up and down of the stock. Well, you should ignore that. That's a setup. That's a setup. Unless you're planning to sell today, it doesn't matter what it's doing today. You need to look at the chart for when you plan to make a move, theoretically. So if you're going to make a move a year out, look at the chart for a year out. Me, I always look at the chart for the maximum amount of time because my intention is to leave the money in there. So if you look at Netflix for the maximum amount of time, you see that it's gone up 48,000%. That's the life of Netflix since they had their IPO. If you bring it back to a year, you'll see that it's gone up about 17%. So all things being equal, if you leave your $2 in Netflix for a year, you'll make 17%. Now I did the math. So a 17% gain on $2 is 34 cents. So theoretically, all things being equal, a year later, you will have gained 34 cents. Not bad, right? But if you take all the other dollars that you have spread out through the rest of your portfolio and consolidate them into Netflix, now you've got $14 in Netflix, right? So now 17%, a 17% gain on $14 is $2.38. Much better. Again, we're talking about a year and all things being equal, and assuming Netflix stays at about 17% return, right? Now, what if you buy a whole share of Netflix? Now you spent $575 to buy a full share, but all things being equal, if it continues to move the way it's moving, you get 17% return on one share, which is $575. You get $97.75. It's almost $100. Again, over a year. So you see how the more you put in, the more you get out. But also you have to plan for time. Like, I can't say that nothing is going to happen in a month, because for me, I noticed some things within a month. I noticed that I was getting dividends, which shocked me, that some of the companies would have a dip in stock, but they would still pay a dividend. And I want to say so many things about that I don't have time to say. So the shortest thing I can say about that is it inspired me to learn more. Like, why is it that if the stock goes down, the company still pays the dividend? That's groundbreaking for me. And then just the fact that not all stocks pay dividends, and some companies pay more than others, and some companies increase their dividend year after year after year without fail. And then that even led me to learn about dividend traps. There are dividend traps out there like quicksand. Like, these are small companies that give a huge dividend to attract investors so that they can get more money, but their stock is falling. Like, for example, I once got a 17-cent dividend payment on a stock. And I was like, ooh, I'm gonna put all my money into that stock. But I stopped myself and I looked at the company. I did a little bit of research and saw that the 17 cents didn't even bring me equal to the share price, because the company's stock was falling so much. So, all right, I'm sorry, I got off on a tangent, but the stuff is really exciting. This is the point. The biggest point of all is you have gotten into the market. Now learn. Look at your portfolio every day. It will teach you if you just look at it. I swear, if you just look at it, if you don't have any intention other than to look every day, you will learn something every day. Because mainly you become less and less intimidated by it. And then this is happening to me too. I hear things out in the world and I know what people are talking about now. Like, my translator is on, my reticular activating system is paying attention to these conversations, and I'm able to translate it better. So look at your portfolio every day and be aware that the more you get out, the more you put in, the more you get out. And as usual, I ran out of time on Tip Tuesday. There's just so much to talk about. So much to talk about. I got to half of the things I wanted to say. All right. Well, stick with it. Stick with your portfolio. Consider consolidating your $14 into a single stock. Double down on it, and that'll teach you something. All right. So I don't even have time to do my commercial break. I'm just going to tap out. Stay tuned for Rev Melissa at 10:30. Sit with Rev Melissa. I'll be producing that show, and I'll be popping in to say a few words. So please come back tomorrow for Workout Wednesday here on the Be Your Own Hero show. Until then, keep doing, be a hero, be your own hero. And remember that right now is better than perfect. Later.